Taking action for you. Action News 5 at 4 starts now.
If the rationale of the decision as released were to be sustained, the whole range of rights are in question.
Under this decision, our children will have less rights than their parents. The Republican-appointed justices' reported votes to overturn Roe v. Wade will go down as an abomination, one of the worst, most damaging decisions in modern history.
A preview of a decision yet to be made, causing panic and outrage today. Joy and relief for others. The politics of women's rights in the spotlight today. Thank you for joining us for Action News 5 at 4 on this Tuesday. I'm Joyce Peterson.
I'm Kim Clark. Chief Justice John Roberts announced the court is investigating the release of a draft opinion that could strike down Roe v. Wade. Politico published a leaked draft by Justice Samuel Alito of a majority opinion that would overturn the 1973 decision which guaranteed a federal constitutional right to abortion. Chief Justice Roberts called the leak a singular and egregious breach of trust and said he directed the marshal of the court to try to determine the source of the leak. The court's public affairs office confirmed the document published by Politico is authentic.
As the potential causes panic, the question many ask now is how could a leak like this happen at the High Court?
So we're taking action for you, discussing this major story with our White House correspondent, John Decker.
John, good afternoon. Good to have you with us. It is unprecedented to see a draft opinion by the U.S. Supreme Court leaked to a news organization. How could this have happened?
Well, that's what we need to figure out. That's what the marshal of the Supreme Court will try to determine. There are very few individuals at the Supreme Court that would have had access to this draft opinion. But I think a lot of attention, a lot of focus for the marshal will be on the law clerks at the Supreme Court. There are 3 law clerks for each Supreme Court justice, so 27 individuals will certainly be the focus of his investigation, and for those individuals, they would have had access to a draft opinion of the U.S. Supreme Court. But as you point out, this is unprecedented. There are leaks that happen all the time in Washington, at the White House, in Congress, the House, the Senate, but never at the U.S. Supreme Court.
So what would be the repercussions if the leaker is uncovered?
If the leaker is a law clerk, for instance, the repercussions would be severe. Immediate termination, number 1, and likely disbarment, number 2. And for someone who clearly has in mind a career in the law, this would be a career ender. So those are some real life repercussions. You're not going to see a prosecution. There's nothing illegal that happened with this leak, but it's a major ethical breach, as the Chief Justice pointed out.
What kind of damage do you think this does to the Supreme Court?
It does damage. I think that's the reason why Chief Justice Roberts put out this statement. First thing this morning, he realizes that as an institution, that institution, the Supreme Court, needs to be respected by all Americans. And if it's seen as just another political institution that leaks just like the White House, just like the House and the Senate, it loses its importance in the eyes of most Americans. That is one of the reasons why I think he really wants to find out what happened here, who it was in terms of the source of the leak, and immediately take care of this particular problem. He called it a singular breach, and I think that's what he's hoping, that this is a singular breach happening at the Supreme Court.
All right, so let's talk about consequences. If, as this leaked draft opinion indicates, a majority of the court is prepared to overturn the right to abortion, are there states that will immediately act to prohibit abortion?
Absolutely. There are states that have what's known as trigger laws, so that if Roe versus Wade is overturned, if it's no longer the law of the land, then those states, about a dozen of which, would immediately put a prohibition in place in terms of abortion procedures happening in their states. In addition to that, altogether you have 26 states, half of the states in our country, that would likely move to ban abortions. In addition to that, as far as states governed by Democrats, I think there would be a move afoot to codify the right to abortion in those states. For instance, like California, the California governor, Gavin Newsom, said today that that is a move that California would undertake almost immediately if Roe versus Wade is overturned.
All right, John, thanks again for your insight on this issue.
Thank you.
We've been getting new reaction from all across the Mid-South today about this leaked Supreme Court opinion suggesting that a majority of the justices are ready to end abortion rights and overturn Roe v. Wade. Action News 5's Brandon Richards spoke with people on both sides of the issue.
Well, the reaction is very much mixed depending on who you talk to. No doubt this is a historic moment in our nation's history, and a Mid-South law is at the center of all of this. You'll remember back in December, Supreme Court justices heard arguments over a Mississippi law that banned most abortions after 15 weeks. Many saw it as a possible direct challenge to Roe v. Wade. Now, if the court overturns Roe, many states will automatically outlaw abortion, including all 3 Mid-South states. All 3 have so-called trigger laws that would take effect in a matter of days. It means that women in Memphis, for instance, would have to travel 3 hours to southern Illinois to get an abortion. That would be the closest abortion provider. Pro-choice advocates called this a frightening day for women's rights across the Mid-South. On the other hand, pro-life groups are celebrating, saying they never thought this day would come. Many of them have been fighting for decades against abortion. We'll have more reaction from both sides tonight at 5 and 6. In Memphis, Brandon Richard, Action News 5.
All right, if Roe versus Wade is overturned, you heard John Decker talk about this. It's believed that legislatures in at least 22 states would almost certainly move to ban or substantially restrict access to abortion. Here's a look at a map from the New York Times. It shows which 22 states those are, mostly in the South. Here in Memphis, should Tennessee lawmakers and others in surrounding states ban abortion altogether, then the closest place to get an abortion would be in Carbondale, Illinois. That's about 3 hours and 15 minutes away. The governor of Illinois says he will make sure that women still have a safe place to have the procedure done.
No matter what atrocious opinion the Supreme Court officially rolls out this summer in regards to Roe v. Wade, abortion is safe and legal in Illinois.
We are following this situation on every front. Watch for updates on air and online at actionnews5.com.
Thankfully, it's been a pretty quiet afternoon out there thunderstorm-wise. We do have a couple of downpours rolling through parts of North Mississippi right now. Nothing going on here in Shelby County. So we zoom in to Tate County. This is moving into Marshall County along and south of I-22 near Victoria. Just some heavy downpours. Not seeing a whole lot of lightning with this as of right now. More heavy downpours stretching west of Ballantyne. This is moving into northern sections of Panola County, moving out of northern Quitman County. And again, all this rolling off to the east and to the northeast. Right now, temperature is 77 here in Memphis, even some low to mid 80s across North Mississippi, so pretty warm out there. And that is going to feed a few more storms as we go through this evening. More isolated storms with possibly a little bit of hail or gusty wind, but overall the severe threat very low this evening. We'll call it about a 20% chance here in Memphis and Shelby County, but higher chances down in North Mississippi at least through 9 p.m. Now coming up, we've got your first alert to more storms on Thursday. In fact, Thursday is a first alert weather day. I'll show you why in just a bit.
All right, Spencer. Well, it's election day. Nearly 40,000 people voted early in Shelby County's primary election, and there's still time for you to hit the polls.
Action News 5 crews are at the polls all throughout Shelby County right now.
In fact, Action News 5's Briseda Holgan is live at one of the polling locations. Briseda?
Hey, good evening, ladies. I'm at the Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church. Polls have been open since 7 this morning. They close at 7 p.m. Now, if you are hitting the polls today, you must go to your assigned precinct. You will need a federally or state-issued picture ID to vote. Today's primary election will decide which candidate from either party will be on the August ballot. Some of the most notable races are Shelby County District Attorney. 3 candidates are running for this position. There's a law professor, Steve Steve Mulroy, attorney Janika White, and former federal prosecutor Linda Harris. The other big race is for Shelby County Mayor. Mayor Lee Harris is running for a second term. Ken Moody, he's the special assistant to the Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. He's also running for this position. Now, once again, polls close at 7 p.m. If you do not know your location, you can call 901-222-1222. Reporting live from a polling location, Priscilla Holgan, Action News 5.
One of Memphis' most celebrated radio personalities died today, DJ Bobby O.J. Known as the King of Memphis Radio, Bobby O.J. was the program director and morning host of the Fun Morning Show at iHeartMedia's WDIA. O.J. has been with WDIA since 1983 and celebrated his 39th work anniversary this year. Action News 5 spoke with O.J. in May of last year about his legacy. He was inducted into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame in July of 2021.
Coming up, gas stations and grocery stores, two places you are guaranteed to spend more. Just ahead, the bottom line on how to save more.
But first, it's almost official. Sources say the war in Ukraine will intensify soon. We'll show you how and the relief for Ukrainians who got away from the death and destruction.